what better way to help the working people that drive back and forth to work every day than to give them essentially a 20-cent break on gasoline right now?
Well, I mean, the working people of Illinois have taken a real hit. I mean, if you look at the president's payroll tax cut that he introduced a year ago, 2%, whereas most of the nation got a 2% tax cut, the state of Illinois, because of the income tax increase, negated the payroll tax cut. So working families didn't get any help from Washington or from Springfield. And so now, with the sales tax situation, I mean, that hits people that are really trying to make a living, as your district, my district, you know, our district.
Well, and essentially, when gas prices go from $2 to $3 to $4, that is a windfall for the state of Illinois on the revenue side, because that is not money that was projected, revenue that was projected to come in. So the question is, where does that additional revenue go? And what I think is that we need to put it back in the pockets of the people that are working.
Well, and you mentioned President Obama. He's not doing much on his end either. I mean, we've got the Keystone Pipeline Initiative that I strongly support. I think it's going to bring jobs back to the Midwest, and it's going to help with these fuel prices as well. Help alleviate the problem of reliance on Middle Eastern oil, and bring that down from Canada for us.
You know, I've got a bill very similar to Representative Rosenthal's bill, and it just says, okay, that we really are, we meaning the state of Illinois, are gas gougers. When you talk about gas gouging, is you're talking about the state of Illinois is making, as you mentioned, a windfall. So the higher the price of gasoline goes, the state of Illinois makes more and more money. I've got legislation that says, okay, we don't, if gas goes above $2.50, we're not going to have a sales tax, because, you know, some of our Democratic friends, they contend if you abolish the sales tax, the big oil companies will make it, that the consumer won't receive any break. My bill recognizes, okay, folks, we're just not going to, as the price gets higher, the state of Illinois isn't going to make more and more money, because when I left Forsyth this morning, gasoline was at $4.11.
Yeah.
I mean, so the state benefits from this. My legislation says, okay, folks, if it's, we're not going to tax anything above $2.50. So our Democratic friends can't say, okay, the oil company's going to make it up. No, no, no. We have been in the business too long of taxing working people, and with our legislation, I think they need a break.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that wages have been stagnant in this state.
Well, the big advantage to my bill in eliminating the sales tax off is it's still there for the localities and the local government, but it makes us more competitive with the states surrounding us, which means that people no longer just drive through Illinois and wait till they get to the cross state lines to fill up with fuel. They'll stop in Illinois.
And your district is,
you know,
I mean,
and I'm right
near there.
Yeah,
right
and so as you get closer to that, and they've, you know, studies have shown, back in 2000 they showed that the volume increases dramatically when you become more competitive with the surrounding states. And so by increasing the volume, you increase the revenues going into the road tax, which gives, you know, which is there for our infrastructure and maintenance of that. It doesn't go into the general revenue fund, but it still goes into, it's money that we receive, and it's helping the people. And like I tell you, the big losers in this would be Missouri, Indiana, because they'd no longer benefit from our road tax where people buy fuel out of state.
The people in Springfield, and I think even Washington, they think that tax money, this is their money. This is Springfield's money. This is the bureaucracy's money. What we've got to get out away from that mindset and say, no, this is our Illinois citizens' money. So we're taking a lot of money out of people's pockets at a time when they've had stagnant wages. Their paychecks aren't growing, but we're taking more and more money.
Well, and we've seen the assault ever since I've been in office. 12 hours before I was sworn in, we saw that 67% income tax hike. Now we hit their wallet every time they go to the pump. It's frustrating for folks, and they just want to feed their family, put food on the table, go to work day in, day out, and have the opportunity to visit friends and family. And unfortunately, Illinois is not providing that ability to them.
Well, I know when you talked about the price of fuel overall and President Obama's policy, and I talked on the radio last week about that, and somebody asked me, and I said, well, you understand that, you know, the prices are not high because of shortage of fuel, because there's not a shortage of fuel. The reason there's not a shortage of fuel is because of the policies 3 to 5 years ago under the Bush administration to ensure that we had that. The price of fuel now is dictated and driven by speculators who are basing their thought and their projections of what the fuel availability is going to be in the future based on current policies, which drives it up because they think that gas will be tight and the supplies will be tight based on our current policies. And the other thing is by drilling and using our own resources here, we're no longer sending money to the Mideast and helping those countries.
National security issue.
National security.
You know, I was talking, how's high gas prices affect our local business people?
Sure.
I had a guy yesterday who owns a restaurant in Clinton, and he says he's seen the prices go higher and higher. You know, people don't come in his establishment as much. They don't spend money, so they're, you know, only people have so much discretionary income. So if you're paying it, it takes $55, $60 to fill up your auto a week. You can't go out to dinner. You can't buy, you know, you can't go to the mall and things like that. So it has a negative effect throughout the whole economy.
Yeah, and I think the guys at the convenience stores will tell you that now when people fill up with gas, they don't spend as much money in the convenience store
Right.
when they stop because they don't have as much money in their pocket.
The unemployment figures were just out for my home county of Macon. 11% unemployment.
And that's what's reported.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it doesn't include people who are working part-time who would like to work full-time or who've given up working.
Quit looking.
So when the national average is what, 8.3%, the statewide is well above that 9.5%, and Macon County's 11%. And then you look at $4.20 or something gas. They're hurting folks. I mean, we people over here in Springfield need to realize that this is adversely affecting people's lives, and we need to do something about it.
Yeah, anything we can do is beneficial to them.
Absolutely.